Something inside you has been screaming for years, and you have been begging it to shut up. You feel it tighten in your chest before a call you already know will break you. You feel it in the silence right after you say, "I'm fine," while dying quietly inside. That feeling crawling under your skin right now is not weakness, it is not anxiety, it is not your imagination lying to you. It is the oldest, rawest part of your soul, the part that has seen the truth long before your mind dared to admit it. It has been clawing at you, begging you to run from people and choices that are slowly burying you alive. Right now, tonight, that voice inside you is louder than it has ever screamed in your entire life, because a door in your world is slamming shut whether you are ready or not. Maybe it is a love you keep defending while it quietly drains the life out of you. Maybe it is a life, a city, a face in the mirror you have already outgrown but are too terrified to leave behind. So before you swipe away and forget this video by tomorrow morning, I need you to answer one question honestly, right now, without lying to yourself. What has your intuition been screaming at you for months that your mind keeps drowning out with excuses? Because in the next few minutes, you are going to discover exactly why that voice has never once been wrong, and why ignoring it again could be the most dangerous mistake of your entire life. Think back to the last time something inside you whispered a warning, and you chose to silence it instead of listening. That whisper did not come from nowhere. It came from a part of you older than logic, older than fear, older than every excuse you have ever made. Science calls it gut instinct, but your ancestors called it survival, the same inner alarm that once warned a mother to grab her child seconds before danger struck. That same alarm still lives inside your chest right now, quietly screaming every single day. Maybe you remember a moment you ignored that scream, a relationship you stayed in too long, a job you took despite the dread in your stomach, a friend you trusted even though your whole body tensed around them. You told yourself you were overreacting. But deep down, you already knew. You knew before the heartbreak, before the betrayal, before the moment everything fell apart exactly the way that quiet voice had tried to warn you it would. The pain was not a surprise, it was a confirmation. This is not about blame, because no one ever taught you how to trust this part of yourself. From childhood, you were taught to follow logic, to follow rules, to follow other people's approval, while the truest voice inside you was pushed further and further into silence. But that voice never actually left you. It has been waiting patiently in every sleepless night, every unexplainable heaviness in your chest, every time you walked into a room and felt something shift in the air around you without knowing why. That is not coincidence, and it is not your imagination working overtime. That is your intuition trying desperately to reach you through every channel it has left, because it knows something is approaching that your logical mind has not yet caught up to. And tonight, that same voice is trying to reach you again, through a video you almost scrolled past, on a night you almost convinced yourself nothing was wrong, because it refuses to let you walk blindly into whatever comes next. Your body has its own language, and it speaks long before your mind finds the words. A sudden tightness in your chest, a knot twisting in your stomach, an unexplainable chill running down your spine the moment a certain name is mentioned. These are not random reactions. Maybe you keep seeing the same number on clocks, on license plates, on receipts, appearing again and again until it feels impossible to ignore. Maybe the same dream keeps returning, the same face, the same warning, no matter how many nights you try to forget it. Maybe you have noticed how certain people drain you the moment they walk into a room, leaving you exhausted for reasons you cannot explain, while others bring a strange, instant sense of peace you have never felt before. That is not luck, that is your energy recognizing the truth. Maybe your feet have felt heavy walking toward a decision you already know in your bones is wrong, while procrastination quietly becomes your soul's last desperate attempt to protect you. You are not lazy, you are not stuck, you are simply being warned. Maybe you wake up at the exact same hour every single night, heart pounding, drenched in a sweat you cannot trace to any nightmare you remember, as if your soul traveled somewhere your mind was never invited to follow. Maybe out of nowhere, a person you have not spoken to in years crosses your mind, and within hours they call, or message, or appear in front of you, proving that some invisible thread between souls never actually broke. The universe rarely shouts, it whispers instead, through a stranger's offhand comment, through a song lyric that plays at the exact moment you needed to hear it, through a sign so subtle you almost convinced yourself it meant nothing at all. None of these moments are coincidence, and none of them are accidents. They are a sacred language your soul has been speaking to you your entire life, and tonight, you are finally learning how to listen before it is too late to change everything. Every time you ignore that inner voice, the universe does not simply move on and forget about it. It sends the same lesson back to you, again and again, often wearing a different face, a different name, a different city. The relationship changes, but the pattern stays exactly the same. The job changes, but the dread in your stomach returns right on schedule. This is not punishment, and it is not bad luck following you around. This is your soul, patiently and lovingly forcing you to learn the lesson you were too afraid to learn the first time. Pain has never been your enemy in this story. Pain has always been the loudest teacher you refused to listen to until it screamed. Think about the people you have lost, not to death, but to your own refusal to walk away when your gut begged you to leave. Think about the years spent defending a love that quietly hollowed you out from the inside. Think about every promotion you accepted out of fear, every city you stayed in out of comfort, every version of yourself you abandoned just to keep the peace. None of it was wasted, but all of it was avoidable. But here is the truth no one tells you about pain like this. Every single time you survived a lesson you ignored, you grew stronger, wiser, sharper, more attuned to that inner voice than you were before. The soul does not punish you out of cruelty, it refines you out of love. And tonight, that refining process is happening again, whether you feel ready for it or not. Maybe right now you are standing at the exact same crossroads you stood at years ago, only this time wearing a different disguise. Maybe the warning signs are louder than ever because the stakes have never been higher than they are tonight. Your soul is not trying to scare you, it is trying to save you before the lesson becomes unbearable. This is your moment to finally choose differently, once and for all, before it costs you everything you love. Healing your relationship with your intuition does not begin with grand gestures or dramatic awakenings. It begins in the smallest, quietest moments, when you finally choose to sit in silence instead of reaching for your phone to escape an uncomfortable feeling. It begins when you stop asking everyone else for permission to feel what you already feel. It begins the moment you decide to trust yourself even just a little more than you did yesterday. Start with the small signals, not the overwhelming ones, because trust is built in tiny moments long before it is tested in massive decisions. Notice the friend whose name pops into your head right before they call you. Notice the sudden urge to take a different route home that you cannot logically explain. Honor these small whispers, and your intuition will begin speaking to you even louder, because finally, someone is listening. Your body has been trying to communicate with you your entire life, and it is time you finally learned its language. Sit quietly for a moment, close your eyes, and notice where tension lives in your body right now. That tightness, that heaviness, that strange flutter, all of it is information your body has been collecting long before your mind caught up. Stop overriding it with logic, and start honoring it as sacred data. You also owe yourself forgiveness for every single time you did not listen, because you were never taught how, and no one can be blamed for a skill they were never given the tools to build. Stop punishing yourself for the years spent ignoring your own truth. That version of you was doing the best they could with the awareness they had at the time. The version of you reading this right now is already different and awakening. Something shifts the moment you choose to trust yourself again, even nervously, even while your hands are still shaking from fear of being wrong. Decisions start feeling lighter. Sleep starts coming easier. Peace starts returning to places in your life that have felt chaotic for years, simply because you finally stopped fighting the wisest part of yourself. Tonight, you have learned something that you can never unlearn, no matter how hard you try to forget it. That voice inside you, the one you have spent years silencing, was never broken, was never wrong, and was never your enemy. It was always trying to lead you home to yourself, even through every heartbreak, every wrong turn, every sleepless night. This is the exact moment everything begins to change, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things feel more convenient, but right now, in this very second. Every person who has ever rebuilt their life from nothing started precisely here, at the uncomfortable edge of finally choosing themselves over fear. They did not have certainty, they did not have guarantees, they only had the courage to trust the quiet voice everyone else told them to ignore. Somewhere out there is the life you were always meant to live, the love that will never make you question your worth, the path that will finally feel like peace instead of survival. None of it requires you to be fearless, it only requires you to stop arguing with the part of you that has always known the way. The same intuition that protected your ancestors is still alive inside you tonight, waiting patiently for you to finally say yes. So here is the only question that matters tonight, the only one your soul is desperately waiting for you to answer honestly. What is that voice telling you right now, in this exact moment, that you have been too afraid to admit out loud? Whatever it is, however small or terrifying it feels, that is your next step, and no one else can take it for you. The world needs the version of you that finally listens. So do not close this video and go back to ignoring what you already know to be true. Stand up, breathe deeply, and make one small promise to yourself tonight, that you will finally start listening to the voice that has never once led you wrong. Your soul has been waiting for this moment, so do not make it wait a single day more.